So no, no, really nice to see you. Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you want to cover?
good to see you as well. I was just gonna start off by asking, what initially got you kind of wondering about lighting, and how did that start? With your band, Jimmy Ringus.
Uh, Are we recording now?
We are, yeah.
Okay, I won't swear then.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it was always the sort of the plan with it because it's quite a theatrical band. All the songs are about lunatics, and so it's very theatrical. We got costumes and all the rest of it. So lights were always a part of it, and I've always wanted to be in a band with big, stadium style lights going, obviously within the confines of budgets and space and everything. So from the word go, when we got the band together last year, it was always going to be a light show, but absolutely nothing was happening about it because we didn't have a clue how to do it to anything like what we wanted to do. I mean,
Yeah,
and then I found you in learn stage lighting in, when was it? March, I suppose.
I think so. Yeah, about sometime this spring. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, and that was just it. So went out and bought some lights and did all the courses, and yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress, but it's definitely going the way we want it to. So it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. So when you started using lighting, obviously your band, Jimmy Ringus, were you guys pretty new as a band at that point, or had you been
Yeah, we
playing
were.
for
We
a while?
started.
Okay.
Some of the songs were quite old. I wrote them a few years ago, but I sort of resurrected the band about a year ago, a year and 3 or 4 months ago. So we worked very hard on the songs, but we just had no idea how to do the lighting side. And there's not really any bands locally that have a light show. I mean, there's not really many bands. If you the smaller touring bands coming through, or even quite well-known touring bands, they don't really have a light show. It's quite amazing.
Yeah.
So we thought one of the ways to kind of really stand out would be to have a light show. But beyond that, we didn't really have any idea about how to do it, and we're on very tight budget, so we couldn't really afford to pay somebody else to do it. We looked into doing that, but, paying somebody £100 a gig to do that, I mean, we're kind of gigging for free or
Yeah.
little money at the
Yeah,
moment.
that's like, hey, let me just give you some money out of my pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just with this one in the world, it wasn't going to be viable to do that. So that's when, I mean, and the other thing was none of us had any technical knowledge whatsoever about lights. I mean, I'd seen Rammstein quite a few times, and I thought that's what I want to do, and
Yeah.
do that. No idea. And then, like I say, found the site and got us off the ground.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you guys were together for a little while before you started using lighting. And so when you started using lighting in your show, what was the reaction like? How did audiences respond, and how did the band respond initially?
Well, yeah, just in a very different way. I mean, we did our first gig in about October, and we just used static house lights for that, although we had some props and stuff. So people were kind of thought we were a bit different with the costumes. But then when we
Yeah.
did the lights, it's quite strange how it takes you up a level just in people's perceptions, and including in promoters' perceptions as well, because we found that, we did a gig a little while ago at one of the sort of the leading touring venues down in our city here, and we started on top of the bill, and I don't think we would have done that without the lights.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just kind of, wow, they've got a light show. They must have been doing this for a while, and they must know what they're doing. So,
You fooled
yeah,
them, right?
I think it just takes you up a notch. And I mean, I always think that if you're playing original material, particularly, people relate visually to the band first in many ways. They're not sitting there thinking, oh, that major seventh at that point was absolutely masterful. They don't know that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, as long as it's not rubbish, if you've got the lights, you've got them way more engaged. And sort of the early experiences so far, that's very much the case, just having things flashing. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and I'll definitely add some pictures in here wherever we post this, so people can see, what's going on. Because you guys are wearing white suits, and so what more fun thing to do with lighting than have a bunch of guys dressed all in white? That certainly adds a really cool element to your show.
Yeah, in fact, just somebody I know who was in another band, they've just given up, and they had two sort of, I don't know, would you call them footlights? They're kind of about a meter long, I suppose. There's two of them, and they used to have them down on the ground, and they've got UV tubes in them. So
Ah,
they're not DMX or anything, but we'll just have them on some kind of foot switch. And I think probably with the white suits with two, they
yeah.
look fairly vicious looking UV tubes as well. I've got a feeling we'll come off stage with quite a suntan as well. I've got God knows if they're safe or not, but anyway, we'll give it a go. So I'll be fine. So that's kind of the latest thing we've just added. So yeah, the suits are great. You know, they do give you a lot of depth, and I don't know, playing off different colours and stuff. We've knocked them back slightly. Actually, we dyed them in tea the other day,
Oh,
so they're just a little
yeah,
bit
just a
off
little.
white.
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of figured that psychopaths wouldn't necessarily launder their overalls
yeah.
after all the time, so they're just kind of slightly more grimy, but they still pick up the colours really well.
Well, that's good because now at least if you kneel down on a cable or something that's dirty, you're not going to have a mark across your knee that is incredibly obvious.
Well, that would probably be ideal as well. I'm looking at theatrical blood at the moment. I found a really good recipe for that.
Hmm.
We've been trying to think about how to put that on, and the big breakthrough came when I realised that we were trying to splat it on, and we realised that what would happen would be that if I were butchering somebody, I'd get blood all over my hands, and then I'd wipe it all over me. So we're
Yeah,
smearing it on,
yeah.
and that looks great. And it's just food colouring with, God, I think there's a bit of soy sauce in it or something. It looks great. That's we're doing this band. It's nothing to do with the music. It's just to do with dressing up and having lights flashing.
Exactly. What could be more fun? Awesome. Well, if people want to find out more about Jimmy Ringus, they can find you on Bandcamp. They can find you on Facebook, and we'll certainly link to those below. But hey, it's been great talking to you about the band. Really glad to see that your lighting show has really taken off, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you guys.
Yeah, well, it's great, and it's just, I mean, we've got a long way to go with the lights, but, just DMX was the first thing, and then Show Buddy as well with that. So with those two, actually, if you can work with Microsoft Word and you've got a bit of expertise from the right directions on, from you and the site, then, you can get something up and running really, really pretty quickly, and it looks awesome as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, nice one. It was a great find. So, yeah, we'll keep going.
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear. And yeah, it's just amazing how when you get the right tools in place, there's so many options out there, but when you get the right tools in place, it can really start to fall together and not, be a complete hair puller.
Yeah, DMX is great as well. I mean, obviously the one that you've been majoring on because it is so easy to use. I mean, it's great to get up, and then Show Buddy being the sister program as well, because all we did was we took the tracks, quantized them, and you have them as a waveform, a WAV, in Show Buddy, and then you just drag the cues on. So as long as you've got a drummer that can play to a click, then you can achieve something really quite amazing, to the extent that people go, how do they do that really quite quickly?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, great to hear from you, Pete. Great to talk with you finally and connect with you here on Skype, and definitely be letting people know about the band and where to check you guys out. And we'll be in contact, of course, in the labs, and keep making that light show awesome.